Welcome, fellow KISS fans. As you can see, I have not prepared for the morning, but I just wanted to kind of discuss what I have planned for today and how that plan has kind of changed. I originally today wanted to head down to where I saw the reunion show, 1996, where I actually saw the original KISS. What I love about the creative process is when you begin to research something, new information trickles in and can lead you into a whole new direction, which has happened today. Still heading down to where I saw the reunion show. Touched briefly on that and my history with this venue, but even greater, I have discovered a bevy of wonderful information from a dear friend who saw the IAFYD tour at this location. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Briefly touch on the reunion tour, briefly touch on my history with this venue, but man, we're going to focus on some great nostalgia, some great stories, and some great experiences of being a KISS fan in the 1970s. So that is what we are going to do today. I am going to prepare for the day, and you and I are going to wax some serious 1970s KISS nostalgia. Welcome to It's All For You Demon, celebrating the fun of being a KISS fan. And we're going to be on location when I end this, so let's say it now. Be good to your babies.
This fur sign is one of my favorite old signs in Kansas City. I love that it still exists with the neon inside. I don't like fur stores, but that's a pretty cool sign of an era that no longer exists.
And here we are at the Kansas City Kemper Arena, and a little history of myself and this arena. This is where I saw my very first rock concert ever. Motley Crue, November 21st, 1989, Dr. Feelgood Tour, Warrant, opened. So this is the building where I got my very first rock and roll concert t-shirt, which is odd to think that my mom would allow me to get a shirt with pentagrams on it, and she actually did a photo shoot at home of me wearing my first concert shirt, which, if you've heard any of my talk before about my mom, you know she was pretty religious, so that was kind of odd. And so this is where I saw the 1996 reunion show, July 3rd, 1996. 1996 was a very bizarre time to be a KISS fan because basically we were given the Wonka golden ticket. And that Wonka golden ticket was, of course, the reunion. Now, researching that show, I stumbled upon some even greater information from my friend Gery that took place here in 1977. So that is what we're going to talk about today. But even greater than Motley Crue or the KISS reunion show was that on November 27th, 1977, the IAFYD tour rolled into town. And my friend Gery was in attendance, and he has given me a bevy of nostalgic information to share with you today. Now, when the IAFYD tour rolled into town on November 27th, 1977, Gery said it was a bitterly cold night. According to Farmer's Almanac, that day was very windy, cold, pelting snow, and ice, which Gery confirmed when he said this parking lot was an ice skating rink after the show. Gery attended this show with his dad, who was a truck driver by trade, so the weather was probably on his dad's mind. His dad knowing that the roads were going to be horrible after this show. So when Peter came out to sing Beth, that dramatic ending of the song, Gery's dad took that as a clue that the show was over, and Gery missed Black Diamond as the encore. But they made it home safe out of the ice skating rink parking lot. Now at the show, Gery bought a program for $3, which is the same price as the tour books in the IAFYD merchandise form. Of the shirts that were sold at the show, Gery said he remembers the beige IAFYD shirt and the yellow IAFYD shirt, which can be seen in a famous scene from Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, as the man selling the shirts when Melissa is looking for Sam is wearing that yellow IAFYD shirt. Now Gery said he was 10 years old at the time of the show, not too much into concert t-shirts, kind of thought that was something that the older kids did. So Gery opted for the tour program, but distinctively remembers the IAFYD solo shot posters, Gene especially, as Gene was his favorite. It is pretty cool to think about how many kids left this arena on that night in 1977 with this amazing poster in tow. Gery said his dad kind of ixnayed buying that poster, saying that it would probably get beat up quite a bit during the show. Just being a good parent and probably saving a little money. But it's awesome to think about how many kids left this venue back then with that poster under their arm. Now, probably one of the most awesome tidbits of information from Gery regarding this night at this arena was that his dad smuggled in a tape recorder and 3 blank cassette tapes, and they taped the show on cassette. They had to judge when to flip the tape over. In complete blackness, they wouldn't know when the tape ran out. So the IAFYD show at Kemper Arena that night actually took up 3 cassette tapes. At the time of the show, Gery had not heard the album Love Gun, so when the band played I Stole Your Love, Gery did not know what that song was, and he believed the chorus of I Stole Your Love to actually be No, No, No. A comment he said is pretty ironic, as No, No, No would end up becoming a not so memorable song from this man years later. Now, Gery explained that they had nosebleed seats the night of the concert. However, it still was a glorious event, and he can remember older kids on the floor walking the crowd dressed as the members of Kiss. Took that as the ultimate fandom, I'll never be that cool sort of thing. Very cool to imagine. There's some kids out there that got out of their parents' car here in this parking lot and walked into this building dressed as Kiss. Happens every day now, but it's also very cool to imagine it back in 1977 when things were fresh, things were real, things were magic. Now, IAFYD was released on October 14th, 1977. Gery did not own the record when attending the IAFYD tour here in this building. However, does remember buying IAFYD shortly after the concert, within a week, on a Friday night, and spending the night at his buddy's house and telling him bits and pieces of the show that took place here as they listened to this record. It is pretty awesome to think about 2 kids in 1977 hanging out in their parents' basement playing IAFYD, staring at this gatefold, talking about events that took place in this building 1 week prior. Even more awesome to think that this stage show at one time, November 1977, was loaded into this building. Even cooler to think that at one time all of these people stood inside this building preparing for this show. And I think that's the kind of stuff I really dig about just being here right now, reminiscing about that show that took place so many years ago. to actually think, like, Bill Aucoin walked inside this building. When you put it in perspective, it kind of blows your mind. Like, Bill freaking Aucoin was in this building taking care of business. I love that whole business side of KISS, and to imagine that, I mean, logistics and dollars and revenue was discussed. KISS revenue was discussed inside this building in 1977. The magical days, the heyday. Sometimes that side is even more magical than the rock and roll side. One last little tidbit of nostalgia before we leave. Gery mentioned that back in the 70s, of course, film was expensive and parents did not buy film. I remember my parents had like one camera, and you did not mess around with that camera. You did not take silly photographs because film was expensive, processing film was expensive. So Gery did not have any photos from the night he saw KISS here or when he saw KISS at Municipal Auditorium for the Dynasty Tour. However, Gery is a very talented artist, and after the End of the Road show here in Kansas City, he and his friend and his dad were talking. There was no photo documentation of the three of them attending KISS shows back then. So Gery did what any good artist with an imagination would do, and he drew a picture of him, his friend, and his dad attending the Dynasty show September 30th, 1979 at Municipal Auditorium with the handmade cardstock sign that they made for the show that night. And to top it off even better, at the End of the Road show, February 2019 in Kansas City, Gery took this picture of his childhood friend, himself, and his dad under that amazing KISS banner with the caption, 40 years ago, the old man took me and my friend to see KISS on their 79 Dynasty Tour. Tonight, we paid him back. That is what it is all about. It is about that. Sharing history, sharing fun, and sharing the amazing love of a fantastic rock and roll band that played here. November 1977. Probably one of the biggest and greatest tours of KISS's history rolled into town, and my friend Gery got to experience it all. I hope I have brought Gery's story some justice. I hope I have shared his nostalgic memories in a way that maybe ring true to you. Maybe you saw the IAFYD tour and Gery's memories also ring fondly in your heart. It was a magical time to be a KISS fan. It was a time I did not get to experience. I experienced the reunion magic here, which fails in comparison to the first time around. So that's why I wanted to really focus on Gery's story today. Far beats mine, far beats Motley Crue, far beats the reunion tour. Good times were had for a 10-year-old kid in 1977 in this building, and I hope I have brought some delight to you as well, hearing Gery's tales of that night. If you are new here, please subscribe. If you enjoy this content, if you enjoy waxing nostalgia about KISS, like, share, comment below, leave a comment below. Did you see the IAFYD tour? What are your memories from that night? Let's share that. Let's celebrate the fun of being a KISS fan down in those comments. Thank you for hanging with me. Take care, be safe. I already told you, be good to your babies. But I'll say it again. We gotta take care of the animals. Be good to your babies. I will talk to you soon. And actually, this is the venue, the last venue that Alice in Chains ever performed at with Lane Staley. I remember at our reunion show, drummer Sean Kinney got up and sang Beth in the microphone, and everyone booed him, and I believe he said, "Fuck you, if I was wearing makeup you would love it." And I believe Alice in Chains got fired from the tour that night, July 3rd, 1996. This would have been the last place Lane Staley ever played. I know these burnout marks didn't exist back in the 80s, but it's fun to think that maybe there was a little heavy metal parking lot magic took place here in the early 80s. Oh, and by the way, if you own Judas Priest Anniversary Edition of Turbo, the live album that comes with that was recorded here. So maybe that is from that night, a little heavy metal parking lot magic. Judas Priest #1.